It is such a beautiful day out here. And baby, you do not realize just how out of shape you are until you get done climbing up a hill. Whew, I just got done walking up and down a hill. Now I'm on a plateau, and then I'm about to go down and up a hill again. Whew, man. You just don't realize just how out of shape you are. Man, I'm out of shape, but I'm gonna keep walking. I'm gonna keep prevailing, and the rewards shall be great. Ooh, look at the orb, or the UV light, the sun ray from the sun. I'm gonna go with orb. My ancestors with me. The universe sees me. Anyway, the whole purpose of me making this video, because I was sitting here thinking about this conversation I had with my mom the other day, and I pretty much asked her about, you know, her side of the family and her dad's side of the family and her mom's side of the family. Which side does she think has the vampire lineage? Okay? And of course she looked at me like I lost my mind. And I say this to say that when I was younger, I had what you would call the vampire teeth. The little teeth that sit high up in your gums and they kind of protrude out. And my mother had the same teeth. Now I no longer have them because I had to get braces, and the braces pulled the teeth down and aligned them with the rest of my teeth. But it just made me think about vampires and vampire teeth and how they existed at one point in time. And that's probably why it's in our genetics and our DNA on my mother's side, because we have vampire DNA. You know, we have vampire lineage. And my father doesn't have those teeth, but that's not to say that, you know, it's not in his lineage. But I know my mom had them. I had them, so genetics. So I asked her, and she just thought I was crazy, you know, because she don't believe in vampires. She don't believe that vampires existed, and there's, you know, she says there's no such thing as vampires. Well, I, on the contrary, believe that vampires existed. You know, back in the 1500s, there was once upon a time where they were prominently around us, amongst us, and known about. Okay? And I think just with me personally, I still think that they're around. You know, they might not be like true, like 100%. I feel like they're still around 100%. They're probably just rare. I'm going down this hill now. They're just rare, you know. They're just scattered about, and there's very few of them. But when you want to take into consideration individuals like myself, oh yeah, they're still around, baby. They're still around. And I'm here to say that I am part of that bloodline. And so I just feel like with anything else, evolution has caused, you know, the diminishing of 100% pure vampire, you know. Ooh, I gotta run down this hill. Hold on a second here. When you go down the incline, that gravity, whew, just kind of makes you want to run a little bit. Helps you decline. I guess to build up your stamina and your momentum for this uphill you're about to go. But anyway, what was I saying? Oh, like evolution, things tend to diminish, you know. So with like the mixing of breeds and the mixing of DNA, you know, the 100% rarity of a true vampire is no longer. You know, obviously back then their teeth was their dominant feature, and it was elongated and sharp. Now, with evolution and the mixing with the DNA, you have teeth like how mine were and my mother's, where they are not elongated. They're kind of, I won't say nodules because they're a little bit bigger than nodules, but they're not as sharp. They are obviously a noticeable feature when you have these teeth before braces, but they're not as sharp. They're not as elongated, but they're there. And so I say that to say, you know, I was telling her it's no different from like dinosaurs and giants. They all existed at one point in time, and dragons. Now, she'll agree with the dinosaur part, but she won't agree with the giants and the dragon. In which, hence, in some Asian countries, you have the Komodo dragon. Obviously, not as big as the actual dragon that I'm speaking about. And like, whew, geez Louise, this hill, baby. My thighs, my calf muscles, my kneecaps and my ankles, even my glutes. They gonna thank me later, along with my lungs. Ooh, child. I should have put on a t-shirt. But anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, so like when I think about the animals now, like the elephants, the giraffes, the kangaroos, you know, they're just a smaller version of the dinosaurs. You know, the kangaroo, they had the little hands like that and their stance. It reminds you of T-Rex. Well, what's the full name? Tyrannosaurus? Yeah, reminds, you know, T-Rex. And then the giraffe, oh gosh. I wonder if kids even learn about dinosaurs anymore. What was the dinosaur with a really long neck? Anyway, that's what the giraffe reminds me of. The dinosaur with the really, really long neck. Tyrannosaurus. I think it starts with an S. Well, anyway, and then the elephant and the rhinos, you know, they all evolved from the dinosaur era. They're just smaller now due to evolution, the environment, and probably the mixing of DNAs. You know, that's why you have people that can reach 7 feet, because there was once upon a time giants amongst us. But check this out real quick, not to get off track. You see all that? There was once a time where this is where we travel through to get to our destinations on foot by using the sky, the stars, the moon, the trees as a compass. All of this is what we had to walk through by foot to get to where we wanted to get to, or where we needed to go, or where we're trying to go. And so yeah, back to what I was saying. What was I saying? Oh yeah, evolution and the shrinkage that evolution causes due to like environments and other natural causes. And so therefore, I say all of that to say If dinosaurs existed, if giants existed, so did vampires and dragons. My personal opinion, my personal belief. And I believe that I have vampire DNA. And I'm part of a vampire lineage, even if it's just a small percentage. Those are just my thoughts. Anybody else have these thoughts? Anybody else thinks about their ancestors from way back in time? You know, in the 12th century, the 13th century? You know, what's your thoughts? Do you believe in vampires? Do you believe in dinosaurs? I mean, they spoke about dinosaurs in school, so I'm pretty sure a lot of people obviously believe in dinosaurs and believe that they existed at one point in time. But what about dragons? Dragons, witches, Draculas. What's your thoughts? I believe in all of it. Aliens included. I believe in all of it. But what's your thoughts? Just curious to know.